Am I the asshole for ordering an expensive dish on a group couple outing? My husband and I regularly go out with 4 other couples, except this time there was a new couple that came along. Each couple pays for their own meal. Everything is expensive. Everything is à la carte. So we ordered the tomahawk steak with a vegetable and with a lobster mac and cheese and one with mashed potatoes because I'm pregnant and can't eat seafood. My husband also ordered a really expensive bottle of wine but offers it to the rest of the table after he pours himself a glass, letting them know that it's on him. The couple that is new to the group is looking at us strangely and comments about us ordering the most expensive steak on the menu. She just looked at me and said, "Way to flaunt your money around." So I looked at her and I said, "Excuse me." She said, "Well, you didn't have to order the most expensive items on the menu." I said, "Well, the last time I checked, my husband and I were paying for ourselves, so we order what we like. If you have a problem with it, that problem resides with you. I have no problem with the fact you ordered the cheapest thing on the menu, because I'm not paying for you. So please don't try to count my money and I won't count yours." My husband makes a joke to try to make light of the situation and everyone laughs. At the end of dinner I go to the ladies' room. When I come out of the stall she's there waiting for me and she says, "I really don't appreciate how pretentious you and your husband are with ordering the most expensive food on the menu." I told her we all paid for our own food and ours were not the most expensive things on the menu, as they were dishes that were more expensive, and I didn't appreciate her being in my business and considering that she's new to our group trying to imply that I'm somehow being pretentious when she doesn't know me, and then I told her to tell me she's jealous without telling me she's jealous. Then I told her if she doesn't have enough money she should keep her broke ass home. I know it was mean, but I found her audacity disgusting and I just wanted to put her in her place, and I felt like she was trying to bully me for whatever her reasons are. I don't really care. My longest friend in the group texted me saying that I offended the new couple and should apologize. I asked, apologize for what? Should I apologize for her assuming I'm pretentious, or should I apologize to her for not being able to or not wanting to order what we ordered? I'm really confused about what I should be apologizing for. So I asked her, did she tell you what she said to me also? And then she was literally waiting outside of my bathroom stall for me to come out. She said yeah, she told me. So I asked, how do you feel that I should apologize? So my friend said that the other woman's feelings were really hurt and she was crying. I tell my friend my feelings were hurt when she attacked me? I basically told her I would not be apologizing, and when you mess with the bull you get the horns. So am I the asshole? Update. I called my friend and told her that I would not be apologizing, and if she did not want me and my husband to be a part of the friend group anymore, then that's on them. She told me that the other girl said that her and her husband would not be a part of the friend group anymore, especially if I was going to be at any of the dinners. She informed her that I have been in this group since the very beginning, so I wasn't going anywhere, even though she agreed with her to some extent. I asked her if she wanted me and the other girl in a neutral party who was there to all get together and have a cup of coffee or tea and try and hash it out so no one had to leave the group. She said she was amenable to that, so we met about 45 minutes ago. As soon as we get there, the new girl starts with her crocodile tears, and I cut in and let her know that her tears mean nothing to me and they don't make me feel sorry in any way, so she can cut it. Our neutral party who was there rehash would happen, and rehashed was she heard happened in the bathroom, and we both agreed to what was said. The solution was that we were to agree to disagree because neither of us was willing to apologize, and we were to never bring this up again and agree that what another person orders is no one else's business and no one is to comment on what another person orders. The new girl disagreed. She felt that it was pretentious to order with someone else can afford to order. I said, how are we to know what you can and can't afford? None of us know what you have in your bank account, nor do you know what we have in ours, and why should anyone limit themselves based on what you can't afford or what anyone else can't afford? So I said I agree to disagree. I agree that I will not, nor have I ever commented on what someone else ordered. But I will not be ordering based on what someone else can or cannot afford. That is not my business. The other two ladies, my friend and the neutral party, agreed with me, and the other girl said that she won't come out as long as I'm in the group, and the neutral party said that I would always be in the group. So if that is the case, then she is saying that she is out of the group, and that was that. Not the asshole. I don't get all the YTs and ESHs. The other lady waited for you outside the stall to verbally attack you. She can't reap what she sow. Not the asshole. It would be one thing if you ordered the most expensive thing and tried to do the split evenly business, but that was not the case. What you ordered was absolutely none of her business. It is rude to comment on what people choose to eat and how much it cost. That lady should not have made the comment, especially not in front of everyone. Then to double down by following you into the bathroom is very weird. She was projecting her insecurities onto you. Not the asshole. The new couple is so weird. I'd be tempted to be passive-aggressive and state, "I'm sorry that you don't have the money to get the food that you want and that this makes you sad." I was on your side until I spotted these two things. I have no problem with the fact you ordered the cheapest thing on the menu, because I'm not paying for you. Interesting that you noticed and felt the need to point this out. Then I told her if she doesn't have enough money she should keep her broke ass home. I know it was mean, but I found her audacity disgusting and I just wanted to put her in her place. Put her in her place? Calling her broke. This makes me think she has actually picked up on something about you, to be honest. The fact your oldest friend seems to side with her. Yay, maybe you and your husband do need to reflect a little in terms of how you behave. Keep your broke ass home. I love that line. No apologies necessary, but I would be having a convo with your longest friend about why she feels the need to defend the new girl when you've been friends longer and she didn't feel the need to speak up for you. Am I the asshole for stealing my cat back? I'm sorry if this is poorly written. My friend suggested I post on here, and I'm on my phone. For context, I, 26F, adopted my cat Toby about 7 years ago, and I love him to pieces. I moved in with my sister, 31F, and her family, Bill and daughter 6F, between finishing law school, taking the bar, and moving to another state for my job. I contributed to utilities and groceries, cleaned up after myself, and for everyone one occasion, and took care for my cat. The plan was always to stay from May 20th to August 5th. It's been an overall great time. I spent a lot of time with my sister, brother-in-law and little niece through the last 7 years as they live in the same city as my undergrad law school. We get along great, and my niece is wonderful. She is my sister's rainbow baby, which has led her to be a little coddled through the years. The issue? My niece has taken quite the liking to my cat. He's a very friendly cat, and loves pets, cuddles, etc. The other day, we were all eating dinner together, and my niece was talking about how much she loves Toby. I didn't think much of it, so while helping my sister with dishes said, "Cats are wonderful. Maybe you should consider adopting one." She made a strange face and said, "What do you mean?" "We have Toby." I explained to her that I meant after I move out in the next 2 weeks. My niece came to the kitchen holding Toby during this conversation, and my sister said she loves him too much. "You're going to take a child's cat?" I was extremely upset by this conversation but kept cool and said, "Well, Toby's my cat, and I was never intending to leave him here." My niece instantly started sobbing, calling me a cat robber, and saying that no cat will be like Toby because Toby is hers and he loves her. I kinda just grabbed Toby and went to my room. This was a week ago, and I have received texts and calls from my sister, my mom, and brother-in-law saying I'm being childish towards a child. I suggested I go with them and adopt a cat, but my everyone insists on letting my niece keep Toby and telling me to get a new cat. I've put my foot down, and stated there's no world in which that happened, to which I'm being called an AH. This whole situation is driving me nuts. My friend group and boyfriend are on my side, but my best friend said she would just make peace so I don't lose my actual family for the cat. But Toby is my family. Update. Thank you all for your overwhelming support. I truly thought I was going crazy. I take the bar exam on Tuesday, Wednesday. Luckily all this drama came pretty late in the game, so it didn't interfere much. But this is unnecessary stress. I ended up finding a pet-friendly hotel near my testing center and booking it. I also got a U-Haul, and had friends come over put all my stuff in there. I had already packed most the stuff, so it didn't take long. I'm going to stay in the hotel and then head to my new apt on Thursday. I moved up my lease. Leaving was a shit show with my niece sobbing uncontrollably, and my sister saying something along the lines of me being unreasonable and cruel. My niece tried to grab Toby's carrier out of my hands at one point, to which my friend told her, "I wouldn't do that if I were you," and, "Back the hell up," I left. My sister called me a bit ago, and I picked up. Dumb move. She first said our mom called her after hearing the situation forced me out of a house before my exam. Mom had called me for an update, apologized profusely, and called me childish for snitching. She then said that she took her daughter to the animal shelter, but none of them were Toby, but also mentioned she refused any cat that wasn't declawed. She went on to say I am lucky she doesn't charge my friend with assault. My friend did not touch her. I wished her luck with that. She ended by calling me cruel and to expect a cleaning bill since she needs the house deep cleaned after an animal there. I told her to grow the hell up, and blocked her. Any further communication with her will be a post-bar problem. Toby and me are happily in our hotel with my piles of flashcards. Thanks again everyone. ETA. For the suggestions to get a cat for my niece. I have suggested to go look for cats with them. I just don't think they can even handle a cat without someone, me, doing all the unfun stuff like litter and feeding. I wouldn't want to subject another cat to an unsafe environment. We will see. But Toby and I are happily away now. Not the asshole. The way I see this, you are not stealing your cat back, you are keeping your cat. You adopted him, so you have every right to take him with you when you move. Your sister and her family are being unreasonable and entitled. They should not try to guilt-trip you or manipulate you into giving up your cat. They should respect your bond with Toby and explain to your niece that he is not her cat. They can adopt another cat for her if they want, but they have no claim over Toby. You are not being childish or cruel, you are being a responsible and loving cat owner. Less than 3. Not the asshole, you aren't stealing your cat. It's up to her parents to manage this in a healthy manner. You've been with the cat for years, no one in your family is considering that your cat might miss you. Your niece will be sad, and that's to be expected. Kids need to learn that not everything will always go their way. Besides, I guarantee if they adopt a kitten she'll not miss your cat. Not the asshole, this is insane. Does your sister ever tell her daughter she can't have things? Because this is no way to start developing a healthy, mature person. Not the asshole in any capacity at all. If Toby isn't chipped and doesn't have you registered as his owner, now might be a good time, just saying. Not the asshole, and your sister is awful. She's screwing up at every turn. Just because you ask nicely doesn't mean you'll get what you want. Pets are not objects to pass around or demand to keep. Other people have feelings. You are not entitled to anything just because you want it. No means no. Do not keep asking when you've been told no, because it's extremely disrespectful of other people's feelings. Am I the asshole for bringing my baby to my friend's wedding after she asked me not to? One of my very close friends invited me to her wedding, which was going to be far from where we live, 6.5-hour train journey, then further 2-hour drive on from there. Invites went out a year in advance and I was pregnant at the time. They asked that children not attend, with a couple of exceptions for family, but stated that babies were allowed to attend. I knew that we'd be tight for money by the time the wedding rolled around, as I would be on maternity leave, so I immediately booked the travel, car hire and hotels to make sure we could afford to go. Wedding was in the middle of nowhere, so I also wanted to make sure I could stay close to the venue as I'd be traveling with baby. 2 weeks before the wedding and I meet the bride for coffee. We've been busy and not seen each other a few months. My son was an early walker, walking at 8 mos. He's almost a year old when we meet, and she comments on how advanced he is for his age. She doesn't say anything else but later messages to say she didn't realize my son would be walking already and please could I not bring him to the wedding. I'm shocked. I booked and paid for the whole trip a year prior and the wedding is now 2 weeks away. He's still breastfeeding and I've never spent a night away from him at this point. As the wedding was so, we booked 2 nights near the wedding plus an additional night in the city on the way back. If I'd known he wasn't invited from the start I could have made other arrangements, but I have no options now. Plus the accommodation in the area of the venue was now fully booked. The venue is in a fairly remote location, and it's all non-refundable. I tell her I'm sorry but I can't not bring him now with such late notice. She suggests we get a babysitter but it's super expensive and I've never left him with anyone before. I can tell she's annoyed but she doesn't say anything else. She and her husband are very wealthy, so I'm not sure she understands how tight we are for cash while I'm not working. We attend with him and there are about 4 other babies his age there but none are walking. There are also about 3 other young children ages approximately 4-7. He is as good as gold and doesn't make a peep, although I do take him out during the speeches just to be safe. He's a great sleeper, so I put him to sleep in his pram after dinner and am looking forward to spending a couple hours there before heading back. However, the bride's mother approaches me immediately after dinner and basically strongly suggests we leave now. I'm really upset by this. We've only been there for 3 hours and it's took 8 hours travel to get there. But I feel unwelcome at this point, so we leave. It's kind of ruined our friendship as I feel that she behaved badly. I accept that it's her wedding and she should be able to specify her wants on her day, but I feel like 2 weeks' notice when I had planned carefully so far ahead in order to be able to attend was unfair, especially since other babies were there. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I had to reduce my original word count so I took this out, but apparently it's relevant. The bride also had a baby, around 5/6 Malios. When we got there the wedding, we found out it wasn't a wedding anymore but was now a christening. We weren't told this beforehand. She didn't wear a wedding dress and they didn't even do token vows or walk the aisle, as originally planned. We did know they had gotten legally married in a small service before this. They were calling it a celebration for friends and family. There was a mix of wedding speeches after the dinner and a lot of talk about the real wedding that was supposedly wonderful and also had speeches but that most of us hadn't been invited to. Not the asshole. With only 2 weeks' notice it's not reasonable of your friend to make that request. Like you said, if you'd known about this from the start you would have made the appropriate arrangements. If she meant non-mobile babies only she should have said that. But she didn't. It was really rotten of her to send her mom to kick you out over it. I understand this was a stress point for the bride, but kicking someone out over a sleeping baby is just pettiness. Not the asshole, not a great friend by the sounds of it. Not the asshole. The friend was shady in my opinion. She literally had folks thinking they were going to a wedding. People traveled to her city, booked flights and rooms, only to discover that it wasn't actually wedding, but a christening instead? You planned and traveled for a christening, and then they treated you poorly after all of your effort. F that. She's the not the asshole. She was mad because your child reached a milestone a little early? Then she should have said no children at all so she covered all stages of childhood. Or asked you tie his legs together, sarcasm obviously. Not the asshole, which going by the title I'm surprised about, but they said babies were allowed. Your son is under a year, who cares that he's walking a bit earlier than others? That's way too short notice to change plans at that point. Am I the asshole for telling my friends they aren't ready for a baby? I, 26F. Recently learned that one of my best friends, 26F, and her husband, 29M, are expecting a baby. I feel like an ass since I didn't react with joy like everyone else, but I honestly can't support their decision. They've only been married for a couple of years, so there was plenty of time for them to settle down and have kids, in my opinion, but my friend has always had baby fever. I'm mainly concerned about their ability to be parents. They both work full-time and when they get home they complain they are too tired to take care of stuff around the house, cooking, cleaning, etc. They eat out every night because my friend doesn't know how to cook and her husband just doesn't want to. Their house is always messy between dishes, laundry, and general filth. They also have poor money management skills, always shopping for stuff they just see and want but don't need rather than buying stuff like groceries to cook actual meals. They've struggled to pay rent a few times because of this. In addition, their house is incredibly small, overflowing with stuff and not a safe environment for a baby. It's very old and has a lot issues. Realistically, how do you expect to take care of a baby with habits like that and in a space that isn't suited for them? When I expressed these concerns to my friends, they essentially told me I shouldn't worry about it because nobody is ever prepared to have a baby, and that I should just be happy for them. I get that you're never really prepared, but you can have a game plan, right? Start saving and making sure you have the stuff and space required? How nonchalant they were about my concerns made me even more anxious. You'd think I was having the baby. Yesterday the topic came up again and my friend asked me if I had changed my mind about it, and when I told her no, she was grated. I also learned they are now trying to rush a move to get to a bigger and better house even though she's halfway through her second trimester. She's starting getting defensive, saying that just because I don't really want kids of my own that I was trying to bring her down, and that I should just support her pregnancy rather than being concerned about future problems. I told her that she and her husband were too caught in elation to see the reality that being a parent isn't just about cute baby clothes and being a friend to your child. I did get snippy, which I shouldn't have done, but it felt like she was just brushing away what I consider valid concerns. I did eventually apologize, saying, "I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't think I'm unjustified here," which didn't go well because it wasn't a real apology. Not one she wanted to hear, at least. I just can't bring myself to believe they are responsible or mature enough to have a baby, and that makes me feel like a bad friend. So, am I the asshole for telling them they're not ready to have a baby and should have waited until they got their lives together? Edit. Since a lot of people are saying the same thing, I have expressed these concerns before. Many times, prior to my friend actually becoming pregnant. It wasn't unsolicited, she would ask my opinion and I would tell her these things each time. Update. I was an asshole. I overstepped my boundaries and hurt people I care about, no excuses. I consider myself very fortunate that my friend answered my text message and agreed to see me. She's allowed me to go over to her house tomorrow so that I may properly apologize to her and her husband. I do not expect them to forgive and forget, but I would like to tell them I'm sorry. You are the asshole. You're not the reproductive police and they are having this baby whether you like it or not. I hope you don't expect to remain friends with these people once their baby arrives because they'll always remember how you didn't want them to have their kid. You are the asshole. The child was already on the way. What were they supposed to do with your unsolicited advice? You should have kept it to yourself. You are the asshole. They're already having a baby and your crappy comments aren't supportive. Your friend is right in that no one is ever really prepared for the life alteration of a baby. You don't know the future. For all you know, they'll be great parents. You understand that people can move house, right? When I had my first kid, I was living in an apartment that was completely unsuitable for a baby. It had open stairs, with just treads and no risers. So a baby could crawl through and plummet to their death easily. Babies gestate for 9 months, and don't crawl until 6 months or so after birth, so we had plenty of time to find a new place that was suitable for a crawling baby. You are the asshole. Don't be surprised if your friend hits you up for babysitting all the time once they get home and reality hits.